नहीं यह तन किसी का है दिया।
मैं नहीं मेरा नहीं यह तन किसी का है दिया।
अपने पास है वह धन किसी का है दिया।
जो भी अपने पास है वह धन किसी का है दिया।
मैं नहीं मेरा नहीं यह तन किसी का है दिया।
मैं नहीं मेरा नहीं यह तन किसी का है दिया।
देने वाले ने दिया वह भी दिया किस शान से।
देने वाले ने दिया वह भी दिया किस शान से।
देने वाले ने दिया वह भी दिया किस शान से।
देने वाले ने दिया वह भी दिया किस शान से।
मेरा है यह लेने वाला कह उठा अभिमान से।
मेरा है यह देने वाला कह उठा अभिमान से।
मेरा यह कहने वाला मन किसी का है दिया।
मेरा यह कहने वाला मन किसी का है दिया।
मैं नहीं मेरा नहीं यह तन किसी का है दिया।
मैं नहीं मेरा नहीं यह तन किसी का है दिया।
धन किसी का है दिया।
धन किसी का है दिया।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल। नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि बोल।
नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण
मधुरं नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मनु मुकुरु सुधारी बरनउ रघुबर विमल जसु जोदायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीसति लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर है सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असवर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरिचेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुर भूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय।
Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. As we all know, every day brings in new lessons and fresh beginnings. One must always be open to learning and growth. Bhagavad Gita is a perfect guide for a journey towards a healthy way of life and a wonderful manual for a stronger and integrated personality development. And it is Gita Pariwar which has made this amazing journey possible for all of us. So before beginning today's session, my salutations at the feet of respected Gurudev, the founder of Gita Pariwar, revered Swami Govindev Giriji Maharaj. On behalf of Gita Pariwar, I, JVSM Lakshmi from Mumbai, extend my warm welcome and best wishes to all the Gita Premis and Sevis who are present on this holy platform to attend the Vivechan Satra this evening. So, prayer is a perfect way to start an event. And for today's prayer, I would like to invite Bhavani Nagasarapuji from Narsaraopet, Andhra Pradesh. Didi is professionally into textile business and is a co-trainer and examiner in Gita Pariwar, with which she is associated since June 2023. Didi, please come forward for the prayer.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्.
Thank you so much, Didi, for invoking the blessings of Jagadguru Shri Krishna through your melodious prayer. Now, next we have a ceremonial lighting of the lamp, for which I would like to welcome Premlata Rathi ji from Kolhapur. Premlata ji is a homemaker and is with Gita Pariwar since 2021. She is offering her seva as TA and GC. So, Premlata ji, please come forward for the Deep Prajwalan.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः प्रकीर्णः पुष्पाणां हरिचरणयोरञ्जलिरयम् शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृताम् कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदां नुमः.
Thank you, Didi, for brightening this holy platform with your beautiful deep prajvalan. So before we proceed forward, here are a few important announcements. It's a matter of great pleasure to inform you all that today Geeta Pariwar is organizing a Geeta Sevi program at 8:30 p.m. in Hindi. This program helps all our sadhaks who are here and who are interested in offering their seva, because through this program you will know a lot of activities going on in the Geeta Pariwar and the different kinds of seva which you can opt for based on your aptitude. So kindly see that all of you attend this Geeta Sevi program and just get acquainted with all the different kinds of sevas which are being offered, and please select one of those for offering your seva at the lotus feet of Paramatma. So, and one more important thing is we all enjoy these Vivechans every week. And it's very important that we also share the links of these Vivechan sessions to those who are interested in listening to such Vivechans, even if they are somebody outside Geeta Pariwar. So it's a request that you please share these links with all your near and dear ones and see that they also become a part of this great Vivechan sessions and get the knowledge and benefit of whatever is done here. Finally, it's time to move on to the most awaited part of the session, the Vivechan session by our most respected and senior trainer, VikasJi Vaidya Bhaiya. VikasJi Bhaiya is a mechanical engineer with a postgraduate diploma in business management. After 12 years of his stay as an NRI in different countries, Bhaiya is now settled in Pune and he owns a small IT company. And I'm sure all of you will find it so interesting to know that he's a master of Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, and Spanish languages. He also recites all 18 adhyayas of Gita every day and has been doing this since last many, many years. So Bhaiya is also a trainer in Geeta Pariwar for L1 to L4 and is involved in trainers selection and trainers training for L1 to L4. He is also guiding Geeta Vratis to prepare for Shrungeri Peeth Geeta exam. Bhaiya is a first prize winner at Shrungeri Peeth for the Kantasthikaran of all the 18 chapters and received the award from the hands of Parampuja Jagadguru Shankaracharya. Because Bhaiya is indeed a very inspiring personality to all of us. It's my honor and great pleasure to welcome you, Bhaiya, for the interpretation session of the second part of the 18th Adhyaya, which is not only a very important one, but also the biggest chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It concludes all the important teachings in a nutshell. So let's get ready with full attention and enjoy the Vivechan. Over to VikasJi Bhaiya, please.
वसुदेवसुदं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं जय श्री कृष्ण। पूज्य स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। A warm welcome to all Gita Sadhak. We are discussing 18th Adhyay, Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. Last time we had covered up to Shlok number 13, in which Shri Krishna Bhagavan said, Panchaidani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodhame Sankhye Krutante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam. Arjuna, now learn from me, Nibodhame, about 5 factors, Panchaidani, 5 factors that have been mentioned for accomplishment of all karmas, all actions in the Sankhya Yoga, in the Sankhya philosophy, in the doctrine of Sankhya, which explains how to stop the reaction of karmas. So which are those 5 factors? Paramatma had only given initial input to Arjuna that there are 5 factors which are responsible for any karma to happen. Now, today's first sloka, 14, Paramatma will explain which are those 5 factors. Sloka number 14. Adhishthānam tatha karta Karanai cha pratagvidham Vividascha pratakcheshta Daivai chaivatra panchamam. 5 factors. Adhishthān. Adhishthān is the place of work. In our case, place of work is our body. Karta. karta, the doer of karma, of action. Karanam, karanam is the instrument, the sadhan. Our instruments are our senses. Pratak vidam, of different kinds. Vividha, various. Cheshta, cheshta is efforts, try, endures. Daivam, Daivam is the samskar, luck. What exactly Daivam? We'll see that. And Panchamam is the fifth. So Paramatma says the place. As I said, the place in our case for doing karma is our body. The doer in this case is soul, various senses, which are our karanam, that means which are our sadhanas, many kinds of efforts. Vidashtapatak cheshta and Daivai Panchamatra Panchamam, the divine providence, Daiva. These are the 5 factors. Now in this slok, Adhishthanam means the place of residence. And this refers to the body, where our senses reside, where the soul resides. Since karmas can only be performed when the soul is situated in the body. If the soul leaves the body, can any karma be performed by body? Not possible. Karta means the doer, and here it refers to the soul. Although the soul itself does not perform any action, any karma. This we have heard many times in Bhagavad Gita, that soul does not perform any karma. But it inspires. It inspires the body, mind and intellect, that mechanism of body, mind and intellect with the life force, with the prana shakti to act. So in the background it is soul that is giving the strength through the life force to our body, mind and intellect to perform any action. Also due to the influence of ego, it identifies with their actions. The soul says, I have provided the life force, so I am the karta. This is the ego. Therefore, it is said to be responsible for the actions performed by the body, mind and intellect. And it is also called the knower and the doer. Upanishads say, Esa hi drushta sparsha shrotra grata rasita manta bodha karta vyananatma purushasya pare kshara atmani samprittishtate. That means it is the soul that sees, drushta. It is the soul that touches, sparsha. It is the soul that listens, hears, shrotra. It is the soul that hears, that feels, that tastes, rasaita. It is the soul that thinks, manta. And it is the soul that bodha, that means comprehend, understands. So these are all the roles of the soul. Thus the soul is considered both the knower and the doer of action. Brahma Sutra also states that it is the soul that is the knower. It further says in Brahma Sutra that the soul is the doer of actions, and this is confirmed by our scriptures. From these quotations now, from Upanishads and from Brahma Sutra, it is clear that soul is also a factor in accomplishing any karma or any action. Now taking this discussion further, now senses are the instruments for performing actions. They are our karanam, sadhan. Without senses, the soul could not have experienced the sensation of taste, touch, sight, smell or sound. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. Isn't it? It is the senses that get this feedback from sense objects of taste, touch, sight, smell and sound. Along with these five jnanendriyas, we have 5 karmendriyas, that means our working senses, which are hands, legs, voice and 2 senses for disposal of body waste, our genitals and anus. It is with the help of these 5 jnanendriyas and 5 karmendriyas that the soul accomplishes various kinds of actions. Thus, senses are also listed as factor in accomplishment of karmas. Further, despite all the instruments of actions, if one does not put in efforts, आप प्रयत्न नहीं करोगे, nothing is ever done. Without try, without efforts, nothing can be done. You have the karta, you have the karanam, but no efforts. What will happen? Nothing will happen. In fact, efforts is so important that Chanakya Pandit states in Niti Sutras, Utsahavatam Shatravopi Vashi Bhavanti. That means with sufficient efforts, even poor destiny can be transformed into good fortune. That is the magic of efforts, our prayatna. Further it says, Nisattvadarahadam daivam patida. Without proper efforts, even the good destiny can get converted into misfortune. So how important are our prayatna, our efforts? Therefore, chesta, efforts, is another ingredient of accomplishment of karma. Now, what is this fifth factor? Daiva. God is sitting within the body of all beings as a witness. This we understood from Geeta. Upadrashta Namanda Cha Bharta Bhukta Maheshwara is from 13th Adhyaya also. You have got it confirmation. Based on their past karmas, God also bestows different abilities to different people, depending upon past karmas or past sanskars, to perform different kinds of actions. This ability Paramatma gives depending upon past sanskars, past karmas of ours in many lives. One may call this as divine providence. This is Daiva. What we get from Paramatma as a special ability to perform something is our Daiva. For example, some people possess the acumen for earning huge amount of wealth. They are expert in financial management. Their acquaintances become surprised, astonished. How this fellow is minting money like this? Anywhere he puts his hand in, he is minting money, he is getting money. So the context of such people, they get astonished by their brilliant financial analysis of even complex situations. This special, they also seem to be lucky with the risk they take. These people who are good at financial management, sometimes they take risk also. But they are lucky. The risk was worth taking. This special intellect is granted to them by God. Similarly, others seem to have God-given talents in the fields of sports, music, art, literature, and so on. It is God who bestows people these special abilities in accordance with their past karmas. He also grants the results of present karmas. Hence, he is listed as the factor. This is listed as the factors responsible for karmas. So this is Daiva. Daiva is responsible for any karma to happen. So the 5 factors have been mentioned by Paramatma. Adhishtanam tata karta karane pratak vidam vividashta pratak cheshta daivai chaivatra panchamam. Further, slok number 15 and 16 are interconnected. So we'll take these 2 sloks together. शरीरवाङ्मनोभिर्यत् कर्म प्रारभते नरः न्याय्यं वा विपरीतं वा पञ्चैते तस्य हेतवः. Sharira, sharir by the body, sharira by the body, vak is speech, manobhi the mind, yat which, prarabhate to begin, karma is karma action, nara is the person performing that action, nyayam is right prescribed duties as per shastras, va or viparitam va opposite disallowed prohibited actions, va or pancha 5 ete all these, tasya its, etavaha reasons, causes. And 16th sloka Paramatma says tatrayam sati kartaram atmanam kevalam tuyaha pashyat krita buddhitvan nasa pashyati dharmatihi. Tatra means there, ivam thus, kartaram the karta, the performer, the doer, atmanam he himself, kevalam only, pashyati you see, ya one who, akruta buddhitvan, that means unintelligent, or the one whose buddhi is not pure, whose buddhi is polluted, one who does not care about analytical intelligence. He is called akrut buddhitvan. So he pashyati to see, durmati is foolish. So slok 15 and 16, shariravaṅmano viryat karma prarabhate naraha न्याय्यमा विपरीतं वा पंचेते तस्य हेतवः तत्रैवमस्ति कर्तारम् आत्मानं केवलं त्वया पश्यत्य कृतबुद्धित्वान् न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः. These 5 factors, which are mentioned in the earlier shloka, Adhishthānam tatha karta krani cha pratagdam, Vedashcha pratak cheshta, Daivai chevadra panchavam. These 5 factors are the contributory factors for whatever action is performed. Whatever action is performed, whether proper or improper. With body, with speech, or with mind. Sharir, Vang, Mano, Viryat. Those who don't understand this regard themselves as the only doer. Those who don't understand these 5 factors, that they are responsible for getting any action performed, whether it is a proper action or improper action, not necessarily only proper actions. Even prohibited actions happen because of contribution of these 5 factors. Those who do not understand this, they regard themselves as the only doer. I am the doer. I don't understand anything about these 5 constituents of karma. With their impure intellect, they cannot see things as they really are. Pashyati Durmati. Their intellect is polluted, so they don't see the things as they really exist. What does this mean is, one needs to realize that Atma, that means the soul, the pure self, is not the doer of actions. Atma, like space, is empty, unattached. It is the unattached witness. The driving force of our karmas is our samskars. Soul is giving the life force, fine. But life force is given for performance of karmas which have come to us from our past samskars, our desires, and our mind. These 3 things propel our sense organs and body to perform actions. Thus, Atma is neither vile nor virtuous, and it neither gets into pleasure or pain. Who experiences the joy or sorrow? It is the mind. Desires arise in the mind. Thus, it is the mind that is to bear the consequences of desires. And remember that you cannot dodge. You cannot dodge or evade the fruits of your karma. It cannot be that you commit a crime and someone else gets the punishment. Yes, it may happen in the human courts of law. But this kind of miscarriage of justice never happens in the law, in the jurisdiction of karma. That you do the bad karma and somebody else will get the punishment. Or you do good karma and somebody will get the reward. It doesn't happen in the jurisdiction of law of karma. You reap as you sow. Thus, if you commit an act of demerit, you will inevitably have to pay the price by receiving appropriate punishment. Likewise, you will invariably receive the pleasure of fruits of your meritorious acts also. But you cannot do trading. You cannot do trading, unfortunately, of favorable and unfavorable fruits of your karma. That means you cannot evade consequences of unmeritorious acts by performing some meritorious act. मैंने पाप किया है, but थोड़ा पुण्य कर लेता हूँ तो पाप धुल जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होता है. It doesn't happen that way. Pleasure and punishment as a result of your karmas will run parallelly. Good you have done, you will get something good. Bad you have done, you will get something bad. Both these things will run parallelly. The good does not offset the bad. All this may seem draconian for us, but this is the way the stringent law of karma works. So you think 1,000 times before doing any inauspicious or unmeritorious karma, either through your speech or through your actions. Sharira Vang Mano Viryat. This is because once the arrow leaves the bow, know that it cannot be brought back. तीर कमान से छूट गया, वापिस आने का सवाल नहीं उठता है. So the mind awakens the desires. It is the mind that awakens desires. We'll have to face the brunt of those desires. And Atma has nothing to do with this process. But ignorant beings with deluded intellect regard Atma as the doer and the bearer of consequences. Thus, such people do not see the reality as it really is. They may have heard and read about the soul, but that does not affect them in their everyday transactions. पढ़ा है किताब में, पढ़ा है सोल वगैरह कुछ होता है, but how does it affect my daily karmas? Because the soul can be known only through realization. And ordinary people do not have that kind of realization of the soul. The soul is not realized by them. So they consider this as something heard about, read about, but it does not affect their daily actions. Kabir says, the ignorant people, ignorant beings, they lament, they express sadness that he has lost the God. The pseudo or the hypocrites, they claim to have attained the God. But the Jnani, on the other hand, he says, how can I attain that which was never lost? God is never lost. So what do I say that I attain God? I go, you already have God. What is there to attain then? Our Vedas and our scriptures are categorically clear that the soul being pure and complete is above and beyond actions. But the actionless nature of soul is not easily understood. Soul is actionless. But the role of that soul, which is actionless, is not easily understood. So the confusion is, on one hand, it is said that all the 5 causative factors of the world can act on its own without proximity to the soul, and on the other hand, actionless nature of soul is emphasized. So one side you are saying that it is the soul, the proximity of soul is responsible for those things to happen, and then we say soul is actionless. So this confuses the ignorant people, and they see soul as the doer. Actionless nature of soul is always there, but it has no wants or desires. It is pure and complete. It is this detached presence of soul which activates these 5 factors. Adhishthananta karta karanichi pratakritam. Vedashta pratyekshta daimi chivatra panchamam. These 5 factors, they get activated because of the life force provided by the soul. Like the color blind people cannot distinguish the colors correctly, in the same fashion, the soul ignorant people can never know the true nature of the soul. This mystery of the divine can be understood in the state of spiritual realization, which only a yogi can realize. Our Atma is Paramatma. I cannot be anything other than Parabrahma. Thus, if I believe my identity to be anything other than Parabrahma, then it is a misapprehension, misunderstanding, and oversight of my blundering mind. Shri Krishna says, the 3 kinds of actions, kaik, that means those performed by the body, vachik, those performed by the speech, and manasik, those performed by the mind. A thought coming to your mind is also a karma. You cannot say, I was only thinking, I didn't do anything. You thought about it now, it is registered as a karma. Because Gita says, Sharira Vang Mano. Actions taken by body, by your speech, and by mind is all karma. You cannot say, I only spoke about it, I didn't do anything. I said I will kill him, but did I kill him? You said, no, you will kill him. So registered. Karma is registered. In each of these categories of Sharir, Vang and Man, whether we do virtuous or sinful acts, good or bad, proper or improper, prescribed or prohibited, these 5 causes, Adhishthananta karta karanicha pratakritam, Vedashta pratyekshta daima chivatra panchavam, these 5 factors mentioned in the earlier sloka are responsible for that karma to happen, whether it is proper or improper. Due to the ego, we think ourselves as the doer. This is where the problem comes. The poor soul is not the doer. He is only providing the life force. But then we start thinking that, yes, the one who is providing life source is the doer. So I am the doer. Then we start boasting. I achieved this. I accomplished that. I will do this. I will do that. These statements we make under the illusion of being a doer. Shri Krishna's purpose in revealing this knowledge is to destroy the soul's pride of doership. We should not be proud of our doership. Thus he states that those who see themselves as the only contributory factor for action do not see the things as they truly are. As we discussed in last session, if a farmer says that I am growing all the grains in the field, is he doing it alone? The quality of seeds matter. The fertility of soil matters. The rain, it does matter. It should come at proper time and should not be flooding also. It should not be scanty also. So many things are responsible for that, no? The wind should be proper. If the typhoon takes place, everything is lost. So many factors are responsible for a farmer to grow the grain in his field. He cannot claim the doership that I am the one who is doing all this. So many things are responsible for that. So Sri Krishna's purpose is to reveal to us the knowledge that you are not the only doer. There are many factors, 5 factors. That's why Sri Krishna has counted 5 factors. He states that those who see themselves as the only contributory factor for karma do not see the things as they truly are. If the soul were not granted a body by the God, it could not have done anything at all. Further, if the body was not energized by the God with the life force, it still could not have done anything. Isn't it? Upanishads say, Yadva chana bhiditam yena vag bhudyate. That means the Parabrahma cannot be described by voice. By its inspiration, the voice gets the power to speak. The voice gets the power to speak because of Parabrahma. Parabrahma cannot be described by voice. Further it says, Yat manasa na manute yena harmanu matam. Parabrahma cannot be understood by mind and intellect. Man and intellect cannot understand Paramatma. By its power, the mind and intellect work. Further it says, Yet chakshusha na pashyati, yena chakshu mushi pashyati. Parabrahma cannot be seen with eyes. By its inspiration, the eyes see. Eyes cannot see it, but by the inspiration of Parabrahma, the eyes see. Further it says, Yet shrotrena na shrunoti, yena shrotamidam shrutam. Parabrahma cannot be heard by ears, but by its inspiration, the ears can hear. And lastly it says, Yat pranena na praniti, yena prana praniyate. Parabrahma cannot be energized by life air. By its inspiration, the life air functions. This does not mean that the soul has no role in performing karmas. It is like a driver in the car who controls the steering wheel of the car and decides where to take the turn and at what speed to drive. Similarly, the soul too governs the actions of body, mind and intellect. But it should not claim any credit for any actions for itself. If we see ourselves as the sole cause of action, then we want to be the enjoyer of the actions as well. If you are the doer, you are bhakta also. But when we free ourselves for the pride of doership and ascribe the credit of all our efforts to the grace of God and the tools provided by Him, Sharir, Indriya, Man, Buddhi, then we also realize that we are not the enjoyers of our action. It is the God has given us this. So we are not the doer. If we are not the doer, we are not the enjoyer also. And all our actions are meant for His pleasure, for God's pleasure. As explained by Shri Krishna in the next sloka now, this understanding helps us to eradicate every act of sacrifice, charity, penance, that means tapa, to Him, and perform our all actions of yajna tapa with devotion. Further, Slok 17, Yasya naham krito bhavo buddhir-yasya na lipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan nahanti nanibadhyate. Yasya, one whose ahankrita, of false ego, ahankar, bhava, nature, buddhi, intelligence, yasya, one whose lipyate, is attached, hatva, killing, api, even, sah, he, iman, this, loka, world, nahanti, never kills, na nibadhyate, never becomes entangled. So God says, those who are free from ego of being doer and whose intellect is unattached, though they may slay living beings, they neither kill nor are bound by the actions of their karmas. It's wonderful. They kill somebody, but still they don't get bondage because of their karma of killing somebody. What does it mean exactly? See, the crux of matter is the level of consciousness. He who has risen above the body-mind consciousness and is established firmly in the spirit consciousness, such a person is not bound by the results of action. By killing enemies in the battlefield, he is not affected and he does not incur any papa karma, no sin, because he does this act without motivated or without selfish mind. It is the body-mind consciousness which is subject to the law of three gunas. Our body, mind, and intellect is under the control of Prakriti, and Prakriti is Trigunatmak. So our body, mind, and intellect is subject to the law of three gunas of Prakriti, not the spirit. Spirit comes from the God, not from Prakriti. Whatever is the gift of Prakriti, the Prakriti governs that gift of Sharir, senses, and mind. So it is not, the soul is not affected by the three gunas of Prakriti. Soul is Nirgun and Gunatit. In such a state, no ego remains. Ego being the only binding factor, therefore the egoless yogi is free and unbound by all actions, including that of killing. Now a question may arise, that God in the form of soul, being present in all the beings, is responsible for each life. Then why is he allowing the people to commit worse sins and crimes that we see taking place every day in the world? You open the newspaper or listen to any TV news, you will, most of 90% of the news will be like this only. The answer is that God certainly is present in all living beings, because no life is possible without his presence, and he permeates the entire universe also. He permeates the entire universe also. But the Prakriti, including all beings, is made of three gunas, and each of us act according to the nature of his or her gunas. We are under the influence of Prakriti's three gunas, Sat, Prajna, Tamo. These gunas are a result of our past sanskars of the human beings. Moreover, the Prakriti, though it is Trigunatmak, it has given the freedom to think and freedom to act to all the beings. We have the freedom to think whatever I want to think. We have the freedom to act whatever we want to act. Consequences, okay, you will have to face. But the freedom at least you have, no? Unless each being rises above these three gunas, there is no escape. We should forget that our mind and intellect, rather we should not forget that our mind and intellect is also under Prakriti, under the control of Prakriti. This we should never forget, that we are dancing to the tunes of Prakriti and the three gunas of Prakriti. Sometimes we are Sattvic, sometimes we are Rajasic, sometimes we are Tamo. Sometimes again we come back to Sattvic, again Rajasic, again Tamasic. The whole life we keep dancing to these three tunes of Prakriti, Sat, Prajna, Tamo. Now the statement made in this shloka is a rather precarious statement by Shri Krishna, because half-baked knowledge is indeed a dangerous thing. Interpreting this statement with an immature, impure intellect, many men abuse its meaning and use it as a license to carry out all kinds of bad, nefarious activities. A jnani is not desirous of the fruits of the karma that he does, or the karma that happened through him. Because he says, I'm not the doer. So karma happened through him. He is not a doer. So it's not the desire of the worldly enjoyment as well. But if he were to get some material enjoyment effortlessly, without wishing for it, he sees no reason to refuse it. See, Sri Krishna's vision is far-reaching, all-encompassing. He is not talking about self-proclaimed phony sannyasis who avoid women, for example. One whose mind is still harbors sexual desires, he alone will refuse to see women because he is afraid that he will get carried away by the strong sexual impulse and commit some act for which he would have to later on repent. He will be ashamed of it later on. There was a time when in the late evenings, a Swamiji would be found in some brothels or gambling houses. Both are bad places. One of his senior disciples, Shishya, he found this very strange, that Swamiji is going to such places. He politely suggested, Swamiji, is it appropriate for a religious leader like you to visit such vile, bad places? Swamiji replied, first, get it clear, I am not a religious leader of any sort. Secondly, know that it is in such places that I am likely to get potential listeners. It needs courage to openly get indulged in such vile activities of immorality, and I need some courageous followers for me who have the courage. I do not seek hypocrites who indulge in such vices, covering their faces, fearing that they would get exposed. I want bold people, courageous followers. These people who visit these places openly indicate to me that they are desperately looking for some happiness in their life. I sit by them, but do not condemn or deride them in any which way. I become close to them, and once they open to me, I inform to them that their source of pleasure is temporary, is fleeting, whereas there is another way which can lead to permanent joy and eternal bliss. So I compare the pleasure that they get in doing this kind of bad activities, which is giving them temporary joy maybe. I show them a way by which they can get permanent joy, eternal bliss. See, one needs guts, one needs courage to tread on the path of spirituality. This path is not meant for faint-hearted people. Spirituality is not meant for faint-hearted people. Nor is it meant for those who are contented with their average lives of temporary pleasures and pains. एक कर गया, वो मिल गया, pain हो गया. So, ordinary people, they are living the life of pleasure and pain, and they think this is the life. Spirituality is not for such people. He who can take all his possessions and who can gamble all his earnings for the sake of temporary pleasure, it is certainly possible that he will be equally gusty in putting forth all his efforts towards attaining eternal bliss. A gambler who is risking all his money on something, if he is told that without it you can win a big gamble, this then was the Swamiji's way of reforming the wayward who had gone the wrong way. And he did not care what people thought about him. People may say, Swamiji is going to such places. He did not care about it, because his mission was different. Yes, Swamiji would sit by the gamblers and also the alcoholics, but he did not drink. He did not gamble with them. Yes, he would sit by the prostitutes, but he did not exploit them. On the contrary, he helped many such people who had gone astray to come on proper path and helped them in their upliftment. Okay, coming back to this shloka, having described the intellect in previous shloka, Shri Krishna now describes the pure intellect. What is pure intellect? He says, those with purified intellect are free from false pride of being the doer. They also do not seek to enjoy the fruits of their actions. Thus, they are not bound in the karmic reactions of what they do. Thus, they are not bound by their bad work, apparently bad karmas also. Like Swamiji was sitting in brothel or in a gambling house. It is a bad karma, no? But he doesn't get tempted because of that. Because the mission was different. Previously in Shlok, this subject has been touched by Shri Krishna in earlier shlokas also. In 5th Adhyaya, he had stated that those who are detached from the results are never tempted by the scene. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karotiyah lipyatena sa papena padma patram ivamvasa. This is what we have learned in 5th Adhyaya. So from a material perspective, they may appear to be working, but from spiritual perspective, they are free from any selfish motivations. And those who are free from selfish motivations, they do not become bound by the results of karmas. There was one famous great poet, Rahim, during the Mughal period of Indian history. Though he was Muslim by birth, he was a great devotee of Lord Shri Krishna. He was a Krishna Bhakta. When he would give alms, bhiksha, in charity, he would lower his eyes. An endearing incident is related about this habit of that Rahim. It is said that Tulsidas heard about this style of giving alms by Rahim, and he asked Rahim in a doha, he asked him, ऐसी देनी देना जो पिता सीखे हो सैना, जो कर उच्च करे त्यो तो नीचे नैना. हाथ ऊपर है तुम्हारे और गर्दन नीचे, आंखें नीचे. ऐसे स्टाइल कहाँ से सीखा आपने? ये भिक्षा देने का स्टाइल कहाँ से सीखा आपने? Sir, where did you learn to give alms like this? Your hands are high and your eyes are low. From where did you learn this? Rahim replied beautifully and with great humility. He said, देनहारा कोई और है, भेजता है दीना रहना. लोग भ्रम हम पर करे, याते नीचे नैना. अरे भाई, giver is somebody else. Someone else is the giver. Giving day and night, दीना रहना. दिन रात देते रहता है, but the world gives the credit to me. लोग भ्रम हम पर करे. People give credit to me, so I lower my eyes. याते नीचे नैना. I am embarrassed. I am not the giver. Giver is somebody else. But the people are giving credit to me, so I feel ashamed. That's why नीचे नैना. Understanding that we are not the sole cause responsible for our accomplishments. This kind of feeling, it frees us, makes us free from the egoistic pride of our doership. So this is the purpose of learning, that we should give up this sense of doership and this pride, which is false. Now further, slok number 18. ज्ञानज्ञेयं परिज्ञाता त्रिविधा कर्म चोदना, कर्णं कर्म कर्तेति त्रिविधः कर्म संग्रहः. Jnanam is the knowledge. Jneyam, knowable, objective of knowledge. Parijnata, the knower. Trividha, of three kinds. Karma, of work. Chodana, that means the impetus, the motivating factor, motivate. Karanam, the instrument, the senses. Karma, action, we know that. Karta is the doer. Trividha, three kinds. And Sangraha is the accumulation. So Śrīmad Bhagavan says, Jnana Jnaya Parijnata Trividha Karma Chodana, Karanam Karma Karteti Trividha Karma Sangraha. Great knowledge we are getting from Lord Shri Krishna. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. Three things. Knowledge, object of knowledge, and the knower. These are three factors that induce karma, that induce action. The instrument of action, the action itself, and the doer, these are the three constituents of action. See, in this very systematic treatment of science of karma, science of action, Shri Krishna explained its limbs, Adhisthana, all those five factors. He also explained the karmic reaction of action and the process of becoming free from them. How to become free from? Don't claim the doership. Don't be a bhakta. That is the way to get free from our karmas. Now he explains the threefold factors that propel the action. Karma chodana, that propel the action. These are jnana, knowledge, jneya, the object of knowledge, and jnata, the knower. Simple example. You want to know how the pen writes. So jnana, you want to know how pen writes. This is the jnana. Jneya is the object of knowledge. That is that pen. And you are the knower. You want to know. So you are the jnata. So this triputi, together these three is called jnana triputi. Triad of action. Jnana triputi. Knowledge is the primary impetus for action. It provides understanding to the knower about the object of knowledge. This triputi jointly induces action. Jnana Niyam Parijnata. For example, knowledge of remuneration amount paid by the employer, it motivates the employees to work. Information of discovery of gold in various parts of the world, it led the gold rush to involving feverish migration by workers. Awareness of importance of winning a medal in the Olympic, it motivates a sports person to practice for many years. So there is a motivating factor, no? Knowledge also a correlation to the work quality of work. It has a correlation with the quality of work. For instance, a degree from top ranking college, be it IIT or IIM, it carries a weight in the job market. Corporations, they realize that people with higher quality of knowledge can perform work more proficiently. So they pick up guys from IIT and IIMs. That is why good corporations, they invest in developments of their employees. So it is the sponsoring by them. They keep sponsoring for developmental seminars for their employees to further advance their skill sets. So this was the Jnana Triputi, Jnana Niyam Parijnata. The second set named is Karma Triputi, triad of action. It includes Karta, doer, Karan, the instrument of action, Sadhan, and Karma, the action itself. This Triputi jointly constitutes the content of action. So the doer utilizes the instrument of action to perform the action. That means the Karta utilizes the Karan to perform the Karma. Shri Krishna now relates them to the three modes of material nature, Sat, Rajo, Tamo, to explain why people differ from each other in their motives and in their actions. All these things, what we have discussed now, whether it is Karta, Karma or anything, it has three aspects of Sat, Rajo, Tamo. That is the reason the people differ in their actions and their motivations. What are those? That Paramatma will explain in the forthcoming shlokas. Slok number 19. Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridaiva guna bhedataha prochate guna sankhyanī yathavacchunatannyapi. Paramatma says, Jnanam, the knowledge, karma, the karma action, karma, karta, the doer, tridha, three kinds, guna bhedataha, in terms of different modes. Three guna bhedata, satparajatamo, of prakriti, of nature, prochate, prochate is said to be, guna sankhyanī, in terms of different gunas, mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Yathavat, yathavat as they are. Shruno, shruno means hear. Now Paramatma is sharing another piece of knowledge, saying that Jnanam karma cha karta cha tridaiva guna bhedata prochate guna sankhyanī yathavat chunatannyapi. Knowledge, action, and the doer are declared to be the three kinds of in Sankhya philosophy. These three are explained in Sankhya philosophy, distinguished according to the three modes of material nature. So Jnana can be three types, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, Karma can be three types, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo, and Karta can be three types, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. So knowledge, action, and doer are declared to be of three kinds in the Sankhya philosophy, distinguished according to the three modes of nature, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. Paramatma says, I will now explain their distinctions to you. Listen, Shruno. Sankhya Shastra, it holds that Prakriti or the man is made of three gunas of Prakriti. Every human being is having these three gunas of Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. There is no fourth guna, only three. And this body is made up from 24 elements, which we learn from 13th Adhyaya. Mahabhutanya hankaro buddhira vyaktamevacho indriyani dashaikancha panchachendriya gocharaha. What else? Ichchadvesha sukham dukkham sangatashchetana dhrutihi etat kshetram samasena savikaramudartam. So these elements operate due to the presence of actionless Purush. When it is Sankhya philosophy, Sankhya philosophy talks of only these two entities, Purush and Prakriti. It does not talk about Paramatma also. Purush and Prakriti. That is, Purush is the soul. Prakriti is our body. Unless mind is purified, the spiritual reality cannot be known. According to Sankhya Shastra, to know through the spiritual realization the reality of Prakriti and Purush is the acid test of true knower. To know the reality of what is Purush and what is Prakriti is the acid test of the knower, of the Jnani. The central idea is to know the role of three gunas of the unmanifest Prakriti, which is possible only through spiritual realization. So Shri Krishna once again refers to the three modes of Prakriti. In Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, 14th Adhyay, he had given an introduction to these three gunas of Sattva, Raja, Tamo of Prakriti and described how each of them bind the soul to the sansar of life and death. Sattva guna also binds, Raja of course binds, and Tamo also binds. Then in Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, 17th Adhyay, he went into great details about how these three modes, Sattva, Raja, Tamo, influence the kind of faith people develop and also their choice of food, etc. Katpam, Lona, Tishna, Dikshna, Hridayana, all the shlokas in 17th Adhyay. How Sattvic people, what kind of food they like. Rajasic food people, what kind of food they like. Tamasic people, what kind of food they like. Even that has been described in great details in 17th Adhyay. Shri Krishna also explained the categories of sacrifice, yajna, charity and penance. Which yajna is Sattvic, which is Tamasic, which is Rajasic, which dana is all these three categories, which tapa is all these three categories. Now here, according to three gunas, the Lord will explain the three types of knowledge, jnana, three types of action, karma, and three types of karta, the doer, jnana, karma and karta. See, there are 6 systems of thoughts in our Indian philosophy. We follow 6 systems of thoughts. They are the 6 prominent systems of thought in Indian philosophy are known as Saddarshan. Saddarshan. They are Nyaya, logic. Vaisheshika, that means atomic theory. Sankhya, analysis of matter and spirit, Prakriti and Purush. Yoga, discipline of self-realization. Purva Mimamsa, science of rituals. And Vedanta, science of God realization. Of these, Sankhya philosophy is considered recognized as an authority in the analysis of material nature. It considers the soul as the Purush, the Lord, and thus recognizes many Purushas. Every soul is a Purush. Because every soul is a Purush, so there are so many Purush then. Prakriti is the material nature and it includes all the things made from it. Sankhya philosophy, it states that the cause of misery is the desire of Purush to enjoy the Prakriti. This is the problem. This is the cause of misery. The Purush wants to enjoy the Prakriti and this is the cause of misery. When this enjoying propensity subsides, then the Purush is released from the bondage of material nature and then he attains that eternal beatitude. The Sankhya philosophy does not recognize the existence of Param Purush or even Supreme Lord. Hence it is insufficient. Because it does not talk of Param Purush or Supreme Lord, it is insufficient for knowing the absolute truth. However, in the matter of knowing about Prakriti, Shri Krishna refers to it as an authority. Sankhya philosophy is an authority when it comes to discussion on Prakriti. So this is the Sankhya Prakriti, Sankhya Yoga, which Paramatma is explaining. Next shloka, shloka number 20. Sarva bhuteshu yenaikam bhavam avyayamikshate avyaktam vivakteshu tajnanam vidya sattvikam. Sarva bhuteshu, in all living beings, all living entities, yena, by which ekam, ek, one, bhavam, bhav, situation, avyayam, imperishable, ikshate, ikshate is to see, avivaktam, undivided, vivakteshu, in the numberless divided, tata, that, jnanam, knowledge, vidhi, Vidya is to know. Satvikam is in the mode of goodness, Satvik. So God says, understand that knowledge to be in the mode of goodness, understand that knowledge to be Sattvic knowledge, by which a person sees one undivided, imperishable reality within all diverse beings. That is the Sattvic knowledge. This visible world made of time, space, and causation, it looks different and apart from different angles and locations. Everybody sees the world differently. This phenomenal universe is full of diversity, multiplicity, and relativity. The spiritual master says that behind this diverse phenomena of the universe, he sees the hidden unity and uniformity, which is the basic reality. It is this knowledge which is called as Sattvic knowledge. This vision is, however, possible only with cultivation of the spiritual eye, which does not come without spiritual sadhana. The knowledge of this phenomenal world is acquired through mind and senses. We come to know about everything in the universe through our mind and senses, which depends on our intellect, which depends on our I-ness, ego, which is lighted by prana energy, prana power, which emanates from the soul, the eternal part of God. Soul is the eternal part of God, as we discussed in 15th Adhyay, Mami Mausho Jivalukim. So entire thing starts from that. Creation gives the appearance of a panorama of diverse living beings and the material entities in this universe. But the base, the substratum of this apparent diversity is the Supreme Lord. Those who possess this vision of knowledge, they see the unity that exists behind the variety of creation. Just as an electrical engineer, he sees the same electricity flowing through different gadgets, whether it is TV or fridge or air conditioner or anything, or a goldsmith, he sees the same gold cast into different ornaments. To the Jnani, he sees that Paramatma in all living entities. Śrīmad-Bhagavad says, Vadanti tattva tadvidas tattvam yajajnanam advayam. Meaning, knowers of truth have stated that there is only one entity in existence without second. Advayam. There is no second. There is only one entity. That is the God, Paramatma. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he refers to the God in his form as Shri Krishna. He says Shri Krishna is the God. As Avyaya Jnanam Sadhana. One without second. The only thing and everything that exists in creation is Lord Shri Krishna. On the basis of following four categories, four criteria, he says Krishna is the God. Which are the four categories? Sajatiya Bheda Shunya. Sajatiya Bheda Shunya. That means he is one with all similar entities. Shri Krishna is one with the various other forms of God, such as Shri Ram, Shiva, Vishnu. Since these are different manifestations of the same God. Shri Krishna is also one with souls, who are his tiny fragment parts, Mama Osho. A fragment is one with its whole part, just as flames are one with the fire of which they are a tiny part. So if our soul is a fragment of Paramatma, it has the characteristics of all Paramatma. So this is Sajatiya Bhed Shunya. There is no Bhed. Vijatiya Bheda Shunya. He is one with all dissimilar entities. Dissimilar to God is Maya. Maya is insentient, God is sentient. However, Maya is the energy of God, and the energy is one with its energetic, just as energies of fire, heat. Energies of fire are what? Light and heat. They are not different from fire. Similarly, all energies are the energies of God. Vijatiya Bheda Shunya. Third is Swagata Bheda Shunya. The various parts of his body are non-different from him. The amazing thing about the God's beauty body is that all the parts perform the functions of all other parts. Brahma Sutra says every limb of his body, of God's body, can see, can hear, can talk, can smell, can eat, and can think. Hence, all limbs of God are non-different from God. And fourth is Swayam Siddha. He needs the support of no other entity. Swayam Siddha. Maya and soul are both dependent on God for their existence. If he did not energize the Maya and the soul, they would cease to exist. On the other hand, God is supremely independent. God is not dependent on anything. And he does not need the support of any other entity for his existence. Supreme Lord Sri Krishna satisfies all the 4 points listed above. These 4 points. And thus, he is Avyaya Jnana Tattva. There is no one like him. In other words, he is everything that exists in creation. With this understanding, when we see the entire creation in its unity with God, it is considered as sattvic knowledge. And love based on such knowledge is not racial or national. Rather, it is universal. The new vision makes all the change. When we get this sattvic knowledge, we feel ourselves greatly elevated on acquiring this knowledge. People around you may laugh at you when you acquire this new knowledge and talk about it. A small story. Do we make an opinion about a person as soon as we see him? Once there was a 26-year-old young man and his father. They were traveling in a train. This boy who was 26 years of age was repeatedly peeping out of window from the bogie of the train and was screaming and laughing and after seeing the trees and plants. A couple was sitting opposite them in the adjacent seat and they found it very strange. Hey, this guy is so young, 26-year-old, around that. He is laughing out so loudly at the sight of trees and plants. This 26-year-old was behaving like a child when he sees a new object, as if when a child sees a new object for the first time, he expresses surprise. Similarly, he is expressing surprise. The couple were getting very uncomfortable with this kind of behavior of that young boy of 26 years of age. And were looking at the young man very weirdly. Kya pagal aadmi hai ye? Then the father said to the young man, "Look, son, look at the clouds in the sky outside. They are also traveling with us. Can you see?" So the young man also saw, the 26-year-old guy, he also saw the clouds traveling with the train. Then he started laughing loudly. Seeing this, the father treat his adult son like a small child. The couple could no longer hold back their questions and suddenly said to the young man's father, "Don't you think your son's behavior is rather abnormal? Is it normal the way he is behaving? You should take your son to a good doctor." Hearing this, the young man's father replied, "Yes, we are actually coming from a doctor only. Actually, my son could not see, but today he is able to see everything for the first time in his life due to the successful eye surgery that was done. Every moment, this outside world is full of wonders for him because he has never seen this trees and plants and clouds. He has never seen. He is seeing them for the first time. That is why he is so happy today." The couple were shocked to hear this. Words stopped and they feeling very embarrassed. Now they regretted their thoughts and behavior. So the point here is, it often happens that we make preconceptions about people without thinking. And our thinking and our behavior towards that person becomes a slave of our prejudice. We are unable to think beyond that. So this is the change in that young boy when he got this material chakshu, material drishti. What happens to the people who get the divine drishti? When they understand Paramatma, what joy they will have. This boy is shouting when he is seeing the clouds and trees and plants. People who have understood Paramatma, how much joy they will have. So what is the opposite of prejudice and preconception? Let us try to understand people with an open mind and an open heart, without any prejudice, without any preconceptions. It reflects our conscious, which is the first step in yoga. If we are not able to think objectively, we will always remain afflicted with our prejudice. An impartial attitude and a joyful heart are not the only for others, it is also essential for our own personal growth. Continuing this discussion further, Slok 21. पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानन् नानाभावान् पृथग्विदान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्. पृथक्त्वेन, because of division, yat, which, jnanam, knowledge, nana bhavan, multifarious situations, prithak different, vetti is to know, sarveshu, in all, bhuteshu, all living entities, jnanam, knowledge, viddhi is to know, rajasam is rajasi. So God says that knowledge, see, in earlier shlokas Paramatma explained what is sattvic knowledge. Now here is explaining what is rajasi knowledge, rajasi jnana. That knowledge is to be considered in the mode of passion, rajasic knowledge, by which one sees manifold living entities in diverse bodies as individual and unconnected. In rajasic knowledge, the vision of unity always lacks. There is no vision of unity in rajasic knowledge. The rajasic person who has not disciplined his mind, he sees different things and different objects in different ways. So actuated by the feelings of attractions and repulsions, because his mind is not regulated. The sattvic sees behind the surface, but the rajasic cannot penetrate that surface and is therefore at the mercy of variations of senses at surface level only. He remains at surface level, he cannot penetrate that. Thus he gets involved in the love-hate, loss-gain saga of the relationships and cannot grasp the underlying spiritual, invisible truth, which a sattvic person could understand. So Sri Krishna here explains the rajasic knowledge. That knowledge is said to be in the mode of passion, the rajasic, where the world is not seen in its connection with the God. And thus, the living beings are perceived in their plurality, with distinctions of race, class, creed, sect, nationality, and so on and so on. Such knowledge divides the one human society along innumerable lines. When knowledge unites, it is in the mode of goodness, sattvic. But when the knowledge divides, it is in the mode of passion. It is in the mode of rajasic. Further, slok number 22. Yattu kristavade ekasmin karye saktama hetukam atatvarthavadalpancho tattamasamudartam. Now what is tamasi knowledge? We have discussed sattvic knowledge and the rajasic knowledge. Paramatma will now explain what is tamasi knowledge. Yat, by which kristnavat, at all, in all, as in all, ekasmin, in one, karye, work, saktam, with attachment, saktam is attachment, ahaitukam, without cause, atatvar, without knowledge of reality, alpam, very little, tamasam, in the mode of darkness, mode of ignorance, udaratam is said to be. So Paramatma says, yattu krasnavade kasmin karye saktam ahaitukam, atatvarthavadalpancha tattamasamudaratam. That knowledge which sticks to the concept to a single body as a whole. Mera body is a kuch, I don't know anything. It sticks to the single body as a whole without any reason. Not that he has studied great things. Without any reason. He says, I am all. Without basis in truth. And it's trivial. It is declared to be tamasic dhyan. Tattamasamudaratam. So indolence, insolence, irrationality, and lack of inquisitiveness and the triviality are the characteristics of tamoguni people. Such people are always short-sighted and believe in quick and crude remedies. Their approach is oriented to body and its gross pursuits. Finer pursuits such as higher life, spirituality, spiritualism, it does not attract their mind at all. So when the intellect is working under the strong influence of tamoguna, it clings to the fragmental concept as if it were the complete truth. People with such views often become fanatics about what they perceive to be absolute truth. They have limited knowledge or absolutely no knowledge, but they think this is what I know is the final thing. People should believe what I believe. This understanding is usually not even rational, nor grounded in by the scriptures, nor in the reality. And yet they forcefully desire to impose their beliefs on others. The history of humankind has repeatedly seen the religious zealots like this who imagine themselves as being self-appointed champions of the God and defenders of their faith. But they are all tamasi people. They fanatically try to persuade others to change their religious beliefs and find a few followers with the same kind of intellect, creating the phenomena of a blind leading to another blind. They themselves are blind, but they want to guide some other people who are also blind. So a blind guiding another blind. However, in the name of serving God and religion, they create disruption in the society and obstruct its harmonious growth. So be aware of people who are having tamasi knowledge. Don't discuss Gita with such people. They will confuse you. Further, Shlok 23rd. Niyatam sangaredam araga dveshada kritam afula prepsuna karma yattat satvika muchyate. Having explained about the jnana, now Paramatma is explaining about the karta, or rather the karma. Niyatam sangarehitam. Niyatam, controlled, regulated. Sangarehitam, without attachment. Paragadveshata, without love or hatred. Afala prepsuna, by one, without desire for karma phala, fruits of results. Karma, action, yattat, which that satvikam is in the mode of satvik, it is in the mode of goodness. So action, karma, that is in accordance with the scriptures, free from attachment and aversion, and without desire for the rewards, is in the mode of goodness, is the sattvic karma. So we should evaluate all our karmas on this yardstick. In accordance with the scripture, free from attachment and aversion, and done without the desire for rewards. If our karma satisfies these conditions, then only we can say, I am doing sattvic karma. Having explained three kinds of knowledge, now Shri Krishna explains three kinds of karma, three kinds of actions. In the passage of history, many social scientists and philosophers have given their opinion regarding what is proper action. A few of these opinions are: in Greece, they used to believe, in 3rd century before BC, they used to say, eat, drink and marry is the right action. See how backward people were there. They used to think and they used to advocate that eat, drink and marry is the proper action. More refined was the philosophy of Hobbes of England. Or later on in the France also, they said that if everyone becomes selfish and does not think of others, there will be chaos in the world. So they recommended that along with the personal sense gratification, we should also care for others. For example, if the husband is having some headache, then the wife should take care of him. Or if the wife is sick, the husband should take care of her. So thinking of others is proper action. In the case where helping others conflicts with the self-interest, they advised that self-interest should prevail. self-interest should be given the priority. This was the thinking of some people in 17th, 18th century. Then there was a philosopher called Joseph Butler. His philosophy went beyond this. He said that the idea of service to others after catering to our own self-interest was wrong. Helping others is a natural human virtue. Even a lioness feeds her cubs while remaining hungry herself. So service to others must take the priority. However, Butler's concept of service was limited to alleviation of material sufferings. For example, if a person is hungry, he should be fed. Okay, understood. But this does not really solve the problems, because after 6 hours, the person is hungry again, no? After that came one philosopher called Bentham and George Stuart Mill. They recommended that the principle of doing what is best for majority. They suggested following majority opinion for determining proper behavior. Lokshahi. What most of the people think, that is the proper action. But if the majority is wrong or misguided, then what happens? Then this philosophy falls through. For even 1,000 ignorant people cannot match the quality of thought of one learned person. And on this yardstick of majority and minority, the poor fellow will get defeated. Other philosophers recommended following the dictates of conscience. They suggested that it is the best guide in determining the proper behavior. Go by your conscience. However, the problem is everyone's conscience is different. Even in family, two children have different moral values and different conscience. So what is proper? Besides, even the same person's conscience changes over a period of time. If a murderer, whether he feels bad, he is asked whether he feels bad on killing the people, he replies, initially yes, I felt bad, but later it became a trivial matter for me. Like killing mosquitoes, I kill people now. I feel no more remorse. So the conscience also changes with the time. Regarding proper action, Mahabharata states, Atmanah pratikulani paresham na samacharet shruti spriti sadacharas swasyasya priyamatmanah. Wonderful. Mahabharata. If you do not like when others behave with you in a certain way, then don't behave with them in that way. But always verify that your behavior is in accordance with the scriptures. Shruti Smriti Sadachara. Conduct yourself with others as you desire them to behave with you. Here Shri Krishna declares in a similar way that the action in the mode of goodness is doing one's duty in accordance with the scriptures. He further adds that such work should be without attachment or aversion and without any desire to enjoy the fruits, to enjoy the karma phala. So this was the sattvic karma. Now what is rajasi karma? Yattu kamepsana karma sahankarena va punaha kriyate bahulayasan tadrad samudaratam. Rajasi karma. Yat, that which kama ipsuna, by one with desire for karma phala. Kama ipsuna. Karma is karma, action. Saha ahankarena, with ego. Kriyate is performed. Bahula ayasam, with great efforts. Rajasam, Rajasi, Udaratam is said to be. So Paramatma says, actions that is prompted by selfish desire, enacted with pride and full of stress, is in the nature of passion, is in the nature of Rajasi. That karma is Rajasi karma. See, the nature of Rajoguna is that it creates intense desire. That is the problem with Rajoguna. It creates intense desire in human beings for materialistic enhancement and for sensual enjoyment. So action is, the action in the mode of passion, that means Rajasi, is motivated by huge ambition and characterized by intense efforts. It entails heavy toil and great physical and mental fatigue. An example of Rajasic action is our corporate world. Management executives, they complain of stress day in and day out. Talk to anyone. बहुत टेंशन है, बहुत टेंशन है. This is because their actions are usually motivated by pride and inordinate ambitions for power, prestige, or wealth. The efforts of political leaders, over-anxious parents, and business people are also typical examples of actions which are in the mode of passion. So these are all the people who are unnecessarily getting the tension because their motives are wrong. Motives are of selfish desire. Either they want position, prestige, power. So then bear the tension that comes along. And then there is again a selfish desire of karma phala. So they are prepared to take any amount of stress, but they protect their pride. That is another bad thing of Rajasi karma. So Paramatma says that action that is prompted by selfish desire, enacted with pride and great stress, is in the nature of Rajasi. That is in the nature of the Rajasi karma, that means mode of passion. Further, now what is Tamasi karma? Anubandham kshayam himsa manaveksha cha paurusham mohadarabhyate karma yattatta masamuchyate. Anubandha, anubandha of future bondage. Kshayam, destruction. Himsam, violence and distress to others. Anapeksha, without considering the consequences. Paurusham, ability, capacity. Mohat, by illusion. Arabhyate, is begun. Tamasam, that tamasi uchyate, that is called tamasi karma. So what says about tamasi karma now? That action is declared to be in the mode of ignorance, which is begun out of delusion, without thought of one's ability. मेरी में काबिलियत है क्या करने का? But start without thinking about one's ability and disregarding the consequences. By doing this action, am I doing good for anybody or at least for myself? No thinking of consequences. No thinking of consequences of loss or injury to others also. When such action is initiated, arabhate, that action is tamasi action. The intellect of those in tamoguna are covered by the fog of ignorance. They are oblivious to they are unconcerned with what is the right and what is wrong, and are only interested in themselves and their own self-interest. They pay no heed to the money or resources at hand, or even to the hardships incurred by others. Such work brings harm to them and to others as well, tamasi karma. But they don't think about it. Sri Krishna uses the word kshaya, means decay. Tamasic actions causes decay of one's health, one's vitality, one's money, one's prosperity, one's property. It is a waste of efforts, a waste of time, and a waste of resources. Typical examples of tamasi karma are gambling, stealing, corruption, drinking, and such similar bad activities. So these are all tamasi karmas. So Paramatma has now explained about what is sattvic karma, what is tamasi karma, and what is tamasi sattvic, rajasic, and tamasi karma. Now next discussion will be about the karta. What is sattvic karta, what is rajasic karta, and what is tamasi karta, that we will cover in the next session. Thank you so much for joining today. Jai Shri Krishna to all. Now the forum is open for you to raise your questions.
Thank you so much, Bhaiya, for endowing this August gathering with your words of wisdom. It was an excellent, enlightening session and very, very informative. And it goes without saying that we're all blessed to be here on this pleasant evening and enrich ourselves with this wonderful knowledge. Now, let's offer now it's time for our question and answer session. And I now request respected VikasJi Bhaiya to kindly clear the doubts of all our sadhaks. Request you all to come forward with your doubts. And please use the hand symbol so that you can be unmuted. And please switch on your videos also. And before just starting the question answer session, here is a reminder about today's our Geeta Sevi Bhano program immediately after our session at 8:30. So this gives you a clear cut idea of what seva you can select in Geeta Pariwar. It's not only seva, it's also gaining knowledge, gaining experience, and a lot of a positive attitude towards life. So I request all of you to kindly attend the session and see that you choose some seva or the other to be connected with Geeta Parivar and also enrich yourselves with the experience you get out of it. So thank you so much. And now let us move to the question answer session. So let me see who, Santosh Ji, yes, I can see Santosh Ji raising hand. Yes. Santosh Ji, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, Jai Shri Krishna Bhaiya. Thank you very much for explanation. There are two questions, this Rajasic, Tamasic and Sattvic Guna. So what should we ourselves look for? Should we have only particular Guna or should we have balance all three Guna? As you explained, perhaps the Tamasic is not good because it's very limited window. It just closes eyes, doesn't open anything. So that's definitely a dangerous kind of things. And Sattvic is definitely good, but then is Rajasic bad? Or should we look for combination of these two? And,
See, what we learn in Gita, in Gunatraya Vibhaga also, we need to go Gunatit. That means we have to transcend, we have to cross over all these three gunas. Because all these three gunas, they put us under bondage. Even Sattvic Guna puts us under bondage. Because a Sattvic person, he starts getting little pride about his knowledge. Secondly, he starts getting attachment. He gets attached to his honor that he gets in the society because of his knowledge, because of his position. So even the Sattvic Guna puts you under bondage. Shri Krishna says in Gita that if you want to get moksha, you need to be bondage free. Your balance should be zero. And the only way to attain it is to become gunatit. Don't get under the influence of any of these three gunas. But the path is not so easy. You can't become a gunatit suddenly. The path goes, because we are all Rajasi, earth is full of 90% of Rajasi people. That is the distribution of three gunas in the world, in the universe. Most of us are Rajasi. From Rajasi, if you want to go to Sattvic, and then from Sattvic you can go to Gunatit. A Rajasi person cannot suddenly become a Gunatit. So the ladder goes when you have to cross over the Sattvic and then become Gunatit. And that is what we are learning in Gita, that we want to change our attitude from Rajasi to Sattvic first. And after we understand and do contemplation of all these shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, then we try to become a Gunatit. Do something good to others and forget about it. Don't keep a thought in your mind that I have done favor to somebody, I have helped somebody in need. If you keep that thought in mind, you get bondaged. You do, forget about it. Forget about it in the sense, I am not the karta. It is God's grace that God has given me this wisdom that I stand for help to others in this time of crisis for others. So it is nothing great for me. It is the God's grace on me that I am available at this juncture in his life. When he needs help, I am in a position to give the help. So God has made me that strong, either financially or physically or mentally or whatever way, that I could help others when they need my help. So I am not great. If that thought comes to your mind and then you help people, a sattvic, that is a sattvic karma. But when the sense of doership is withdrawn from that sattvic karma, you become a gunatit. So do good, but without expectation of return reward and without claiming the doership. Then only we can become gunatit. So don't get bound in any of these three gunas.
and the other thing you said that every Guna has, even a food is typically, every Guna has a different food habits.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
thinking habits, doing habits, and etc. on. So
Yeah, yeah.
can it be also other way around work? So if we change our food habits, which suitable for different guna, sattvic guna, to go towards that one.
Yeah. It can happen. It affects. Your
Okay,
food
okay.
decides everything. Ayushatva balarogya sukha prativivardhanaha rasya
Mhm.
snigdha stiraradya ahara sattvika priyaha. So if your food habits are like this, rasya, snigdha, sthirarudhya, then your tendency of your thoughts, people those who eat non-veg, normally they are hot-headed people, generally. So people who like this kind of food, their mentality, their swabhav, their nature also becomes like the food they eat. If you eat rasya, snigdha, sthira, ridya, then your nature also becomes sattvic. If you eat katvam, lalvana, tishna, rukra, vidayana, ahara, rajasa, seshta, dukkha, shokamaya, pradaha. If you eat that food, then your tendency becomes rajasi. And when you eat yataya mangatarasam puti parishintayat uchchitvam chamedyam bhojanam tamasa priyam. So these are the three categories explained in 70th Adhyaya. To choose your food according to sattvic nature, then your thinking also start becoming sattvic. That does not mean that you only eat food sattvic and don't think sattvic. It is only an assistance. It's only an help. It's only a help to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Okay, thank you, Bhaiya. Dhanyawad.
So I think we don't have anybody with questions now.
Okay.
Okay. Bhaiya, can I ask you one small question?
Yes, please.
Yes. Just now we were talking about helping others. So when we help others or do something good to others or favor to others, we always do with some selfless attitude only. We do it with full mind, full willpower, and we also want to see that we want to do something good to them from the core of our heart. And but sometimes when we don't get the same kind of reciprocation from their side, so usually we feel I have helped them so much, and today I'm not being assisted in any way or helped in any way. So is thinking like that also a mistake? Or is
It's
it
a
a sin? Or do we
the
lose all
moment.
the good punya for what we have done?
See, the moment you expect reciprocation, that means you are expecting karma phala.
Yes, yes.
Expecting reciprocation, so that's what I was just telling, that you help people and forget about your karma. If
Okay.
you expect something, you help somebody for, say, 1,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees when he needs it most. And then you expect that when I may need, he will also help me. Or when his need is over, he will definitely return my money to me. Then there is expectation,
Yes,
not
yes.
reciprocation.
So we usually will be very normal when we don't need anything. But this kind of feeling comes only when we need some help and we don't get it back.
Yeah, but then that is the training of mind we need to make. That I have done that karma and I have forgotten about it. I am
Oh,
not expecting that when I am in need, he will help me. That is the only way to become gunatit. Otherwise, you get bonded.
okay.
You have done sattvic karma, but with the expectation that when you need, he will help you. Then your karma does not remain nishkam
Satvik
karma.
anymore.
It is sattvic, but it does not remain nishkam karma.
Okay, okay.
Only
Yes.
nishkam karma becomes bondageless. Doing
Oh,
sattvic also becomes bondageful. But if you do nishkam karma, then that nishkam karma is the only thing which is bondage free.
okay. Thank you so much, Bhaiya.
Then
Thank you very much for the wonderful answers. And now let us move forward with the session. To offer sincere prayers and thank God for blessing us today and every day, I invite K.A. Lakshmi Narayana ji from Bangalore. Bhaiya is a retired employee from a private company. He is interested in reading books and is associated with Geeta Pariwar since Jan 2024. And he is offering Seva as TA and in C and S team and adder group. He is also involved in offline Seva. Bhaiya, please start the prarthana.
Thank you. योगेशं सच्चिदानन्दं वासुदेवं व्रजप्रियं धर्मसंस्थापकं वीरं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु
Thank you, Vaidya. With that wonderful prarthana, we are now coming towards the end of the session. So expressing gratitude is the highest form of thought, and it's undoubtedly a great way to express our happiness. So let me take this opportunity on behalf of Geeta Pariwar and sincerely thank our technical team and the whole of backend team for their untiring efforts in making this session a memorable one to all of us. So we also extend our heartfelt gratitude to all our Geeta sadhaks for attending this session and making it a great success. And last but not least, I also would like to thank both the sadhaks who have given the RM Prarthana and the Thanksgiving Prarthana today, and also the Deep Prajwalan. So with sincere thanks to all of you, let us now move to the next part of this program. So we have Hanuman Chalisa Parayan today now, and I request all of you to join this Parayan and then get blessed. And let us start the Parayan now.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र औ ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही समबाई सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब वीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर गोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय.
With this wonderful blessings from Hanuman, now today we end today's session. Let us again meet in another enlightening session, same time next week. Until then, take care. Jai Shri.